So in a previous video, you mentioned favourable lending policy and maximising borrowing power. With interest rates coming up and borrowing power coming down, how can Avant help medicals?
So what I mean by favourable lending policy is really how much income we can actually attribute to an application. With lenders traditionally looking at two things when it comes to borrowing capacity. One being DTI, or debt to income ratio, where they're looking to lend between 6 to 8 times someone's taxable income. And the other being net monthly surplus, which is how much money is actually left over each month after commitments and liabilities. I guess at Avant, through our strategic partnerships, we're actually able to maximise the amount of income we can use for a certain application.
Okay, and are there any specific benefits available?
I guess we can break it down into PAYG, so someone who's an employee, and self-employed. So a PAYG employee, let it be at the hospital or at a dental practice, etc. There are a few benefits available. One being we can use 100% of overtime and allowances, where traditionally lenders are looking at shading that income. Another thing we can do is what's called future income. And what that actually means is, we can look 2 years ahead of your base salary. So, for example, if you're PGY1, we could use your base salary as if you were PGY3, therefore maximising your borrowing power and helping you get into that property sooner.
Okay, and would there be any benefits if I was self-employed?
I guess the beauty of going through a medical lender is we can look at these things with more of a commercial lens. Being able to maximise add-backs to add back to your gross income. And most importantly, being able to use different forms of verification when it comes to income, with lenders traditionally asking for 2 years financials and 2 years tax returns for all entities.
Okay, so essentially what you're saying is if I were recently transitioning out of the hospital into private practice, you wouldn't require me to have 2 years of trading history?
That's exactly right. So I'll give you an example. Let's say you recently fellowed specialist, you've just started in private practice and you don't have that 2 years trading history. We'd be able to use other forms of income verification. For example, taking the last 2 quarters of BAS, supported by an accountant's letter or interim financials to detail the expenses. Another scenario where this could be applicable is if someone has had a dramatic increase in income, let it be because of COVID or for other reasons. We could then look at using 1 year's tax returns in isolations, or even taking projections, using the last 2 quarters of trading history supported by an accountant's letter.
A lot of medicos have quite complex financial structures, so multiple trust entities, companies. Is that something where you can help as well?
Yeah, I definitely think, with self-employed structures, it's important to engage a professional. We'll work alongside your accountant to ensure we're getting the structure right and presenting it to the bank for the most favourable outcome.
If someone wanted to get in contact, how would they go about that?
So if you just scan the QR code at the end of the video, there'll be a form that you can complete and I'll get in contact with you soon.
Thanks, Jesse.
Thank you.